Hi there, I'm Peter Millard, and this is 10 Minute Workshop, where 10 minutes in the workshop is never enough. In the workshop this week, well, we're going to just have a final conclusion and a roundup of lessons learned from this big job of mine. It's coming up next. So, lessons learned on this job. What indeed have I learned? I guess I've learned the limits of what I can do in this workshop. I've learned that I can do much bigger things than I would ever have thought of doing before. It hasn't been particularly comfortable, and I don't think I would do them again. But it's interesting when you put your mind to it, what you can do. I've got to say, I could not have done this work if I didn't have the additional storage space in other parts of the building here. And I'm extremely grateful to the building owners to let me use some of that space to put stuff in, to store stuff in, because I just didn't have the space. I barely had the space to make the stuff here. I certainly didn't have the space to make it and store it all. It hasn't been a particularly easy job, but it has been interesting. It's been fun to do on one level. These big pieces were quite entertaining. Again, not particularly difficult in terms of construction. But they all went in without too many fights. The usual old building, old home problem of wonky walls and terrible floors. But again, they are just difficulties. Yeah, that's what I do for a living. We fit stuff into old houses with wonky walls and wobbly floors. So that's all part of the job. We found a resolution to it, and the client was very happy with what we did. And again, things like the banquette, which had to be adjusted. Fortunately, they wanted it bigger, not smaller. And again, we found a solution to that everybody was happy with, and it worked for everybody concerned. Again, client and interior designers were both very, very happy with the result. I'm going to leave you with a few photos of the finished article, as well as a little video of my journey. I haven't commuted since I was in my early 20s, and I spent 10 weeks doing this drive twice a day. I think it's the least I can do to share it with you. So enjoy it or fast forward through it, whichever you want to do, I don't mind. I also want to take a minute to thank my Patreon supporters. During this series, I've been very lax about putting my Patreon supporters' names up at the end of it, and the Patreon support has been growing. I'm really appreciative of people who support me through Patreon. If you've enjoyed this series, perhaps consider becoming a Patreon supporter yourself. Patreon.com/10 Minute Workshop is where you'll find me and my page. But that's everything for now. Thanks so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Take care. Another beautiful day in London. I'm going to do my daily commute. This is Westbourne Terrace, sort of Paddington area. There have been roadworks here for ages, ever since I started this job. And when they finished last week, it took about 10 to 15 minutes off my journey time. Pretty amazing. We've just come off the A40. A40 is the main road between London and Oxford. We've just come off that. The Westway is the main drag into London from West London. come off that, I'm going to wriggle round underneath it and go off through Warwick Avenue. They call it Little Venice because there's a canal there. I think I like Venice. Then we wriggle up through St John's Wood, past Lord's Cricket Ground. And then on. Green line, gotta go. Now we're just going past Lord's Cricket Ground on our left hand side here. There's often gaggles of people standing outside their gates having their pictures taken. Can't begin to imagine what this site's worth. Prime St John's Wood, how many acres is that? How much would that be worth today as a building site for apartments or offices? Going around the top of Regent's Park now, park looking lovely in the sunshine this morning. So we've come around the top of the park and we're going to head left here, head north up into Camden, through Camden, then Kentish Town. Work. Not my favourite place to be, not my favourite thing to do, but there we are. You go where the work is. So time to sort out the scratch card parking and get cracking.